Good morning guys, today I'm here at the Hürtgen forest, or the Hürtgenwald in German. It's, as you can see, very cold, it's empty and it's silent. Only for the cars that pass by here, for the rest it's very silent, it's quiet. It's unimaginable that 80 years ago this area, 140 kilometers square radius, this area was a slaughterhouse. Over 60,000 German and American soldiers were killed, missing or severely wounded here. It's incredible, but nothing reminds you here of it. And today I will be telling the extraordinary and touching story of Lieutenant Friedrich Lengfeld, a German officer who during World War II, during the Battle of Hürtgen Forest, gave his life, was trying to save an American soldier. And this is just any other story, because this is a story between a band of two former enemies. Because Friedrich Lengfeld is the sole German soldier who was given a statue or memorial by his former enemy. What we do know of Lieutenant Friedrich Lengfeld is that he was born on September 29, 1921 in Grünwald, Glatz in Schlesien. He was the son of August Lengfeld, a forstarbeiter, and Ida Lengfeld, and he followed school from 1928 until 1936 in Grünwald. He was described as ruhig, zielbewusst, strebsam und arbeitsam, sachlich gesunder Ehrgeiz, vielseitig interessiert, Führeranlagen vorhanden, setzt sich aber noch nicht genügend durch, vor dem Feinden bewährt. Guter Blick fürs Gelände, muss vor der Front noch sicherer und bestimmter werden. Gute Waffenkenntnisse, genügende taktische Kenntnisse und Leistungen. Besonderes Anlage auf praktischem Gebiet, befriedigendes allgemeines Wissen, geistig aufgeschlossen, manchmal in Worte unbeholfen, körperlich zäh und ausdauernd, einsatzfreudig. His leadership was described as very good. He was described as taktvoll und höflich, beliebter Kamerad, fürsorglich und warmherzig. Friedrich Lengfeld took part in 1941, in August 1941, against the campaign in Russia with the 2nd Company Gebirgsjägerregiment 98 until December 2, 1941. Later, from September 1943 until 7 October 1943, he fought with the Jäger Battalion 7, with the 3rd Company of Jäger Battalion 7. He was wounded on October 7, 1943 by a Steckschuss Rücken Infanteriegeschoss, so he was hit by a bullet in his back. On January 9, 1942, he was decorated with the Infantry Sturmabzeichen. On December 28, he was decorated with the Winterschlacht im Osten, and on October 20th, he was awarded with the Verwundetenabzeichen Schwarz. He took part with the 15th Fahnenjunker Lehrgang from December 8, 1943 until March 15, 1944, and was then promoted to lieutenant on May 1, 1944. So to try and situate guys yourself, this area, which you can see all here, from that house, from that forest side, until even here where the memorial stands, and even with the graves a little bit further, this was a minefield, which was called Wildesau or wild boar. I will give the word to Hubert Gees, who wrote the story of the 12th of November 1944, when Lieutenant Friedrich Lengfeld died. And this is a rough translation of his wartime memories from Hubert Gees. On the afternoon of 2 November, we immediately shaped our position up to the minefield Wild Boar, which had already been laid on the westerly side of the road. A machine gun protected the mine-free lane, which today leads to the cemetery. We held this position until the 20th of November. Our troop leadership on 3 November threw the 116th Panzer Windhund Division into the torn-up front between Schmidt and Hürtgen. On 4 November the grim counterattack started. In the area from Wassenack to Schmidt, heavy fighting raged, accompanied by artillery duels and tank battles. The US Army Air Corps joined in the ground fighting. Here, by Hürtgen counterattacks had already commenced on 3 November against the curved front of the 109th Infantry. On 7 and 8 November, the 9th sector of the front was taken over by the 12th Infantry Regiment of the 4th US Infantry Division. At midday on 10 November, a heavy artillery barrage lasting a half hour opened up on the point of the forest and on the American front line southwest of Hürtgen. This was a new attempt to throw the Americans back. After back and forth attack lasting for days, the forest point fell. And afterwards, the forester's house, which had changed position several times, and on 13-14 November for some 10 days was again in our hands. So now describing what happened on 12 November 1944. The battle swung in conditional bitterness back and forth. It is raining. Wet snatches of fog or snow clouds sweep over the softened land beset with puddles. The fighting infantrymen wading, lying and fighting in mud, are close to complete exhaustion. The reported battle strengths are sinking at an alarming rate. Continually, the artillery battle rolls on. In the forest itself, it looks completely crazy. The trees are leaning in. The trees are leaning on one another through continual fire. The infantrymen look like swine. No rest for over a week and no dry head on their bodies, for it is raining continually and fog is always at hand. It is a bush war, man against man, with enormous efforts for the individual man. The infantry of the division are completely finished. There are only staff officers there, and very few men, but men who cannot even be brought forward at the point of a pistol are there. On 12 November, after the soldiers of the US 12th Infantry Regiment had again captured the forester's house in a night attack and during the morning lost it again, our company received a heavy blow. During the early morning, an obviously severely wounded American soldier was crying pitiful for help. He lay in the middle of the minefield Wildesau, at the edge of the embankment on the eastern side of the street, in no man's land. My company commander, Lieutenant Lengfeld, sent me with the order to the machine gun that was guarding the mine-free road that in no case should it shoot if American medical aid men should come to the rescue of the severely wounded soldier. When the heart-rending cries for help continued for hours, Lieutenant Lengfeld ordered our medical aid men to form a rescue troop. It may have been 10:30 a.m. Lieutenant Lengfeld went to the area of a rescue troop on our side of the street. The street itself was secured with anti-tank mines, whose location was relatively easy to recognize. As Lieutenant Lengfeld was on the point of crossing the street directly over to where the severely wounded American was lying, an exploding anti-personnel mine threw him to the ground. In haste, he was carried back to our company OP for first aid. 2 deep holes in the back implied that they were severely internal injuries. Lieutenant Lengfeld groaned under deep pain. Under the leadership of a lightly wounded NCO, he was carried immediately to the medical aid station at Lukasmühle. But during the evening, he died of his severe wounds at the main first aid station in Freudsheim. His lasting resting place is grave number 38 in Düren-Relsdorf. With this cruel turn of events, I lost my best commander. He had meant much to me in the difficult weeks behind us, and he had given me much inner strength. He was an exemplary company commander, who never asked us to do more than he himself was ready to give. He was in the lead of a reconnaissance patrol as we moved up to the American outpost line. When American infantry ammunition exploded in the trees overhead and gave us the impression that the enemy had broken through, he did not order, "Go at once!" but rather, come with me. Lieutenant Lengfeld was certainly one of the best soldiers of the Hürtgen forest. He possessed the complete confidence of his soldiers and had great human qualities. This was proven by his conduct toward a seriously wounded enemy. From the company, great officers of his stature essentially came the fighting strength of the troops. I was never able to determine the fate of the severely wounded American. He may have saved himself by reaching the American lines before this part of the forest fell into German hands on 13 and 14 November. The forward push of the US 8th Infantry Division on 20 and 21 November paved the way for the downfall of Hürtgen. With the support of US Air Corps and the US 5th Armored Division, after days of heavy fighting, they succeeded in pushing our troops out of the forest on both sides of the main road, and they succeeded in taking the village of Hürtgen on 28 November 1944. I was taken prisoner by the Americans along with 3 of my comrades in the cellar of the forester's house near the church. On the evening of 28 November 1944, either fate or divine providence allowed 7 soldiers, all that remained of the 2nd Company Fusilier Battalion 275, to go amongst other prisoners into the valley as prisoners of war. We had the good luck to survive. So to situate you further, we had the hunter's house there. You have the road in the middle, and it's on that side that the Germans were, and on this side the Americans were. So on this side the 12th Infantry Regiment of the 4th UR Division was here along this line, and the Divisions Fusilier Battalion 275 of Lieutenant Friedrich Lengfeld, the 2nd Company, was over there on this side. And it's on this side a path was made, or that Lieutenant Friedrich Lengfeld tried to go to the US wounded soldier who was crying for help. So we went along the path, and was to try and cross this road to this side, he stepped on a mine. Just incredible. Look how the snow are deep. Look how deep the snow is. Okay, we are now near Lukasmühle, which was the first aid station to which Friedrich Lengfeld was first brought. You can't come here with your car. You first come to the road, park your car here, and then you gotta walk. And this is the same way that most likely Friedrich Lengfeld was brought to, either via this road or on the other side, or over the hills and over the water, I don't know. But either way, it would have been no pleasure for the medical personnel bring all these wounded to that first aid station. The road all blocked with fallen trees, although this was done likely by a storm. Can you imagine if this was all artillery? Trees flying everywhere, trees all on the road, and you constantly have to march through it. Yeah, incredible. When you visit such battlefields, it's incredible to trying to imagine it. See, here more trees. And as you can see, it's all ridges, all high ridges. And this typical Bossenak Hürtgenwald, there are all high ridges. Everywhere you go, if you turn the road, you go further, all ridges. Okay, few more minutes before we are there. We are now arriving to the place where the Lukasmühle would have been. This is how it would have looked like. Here was the first aid station to which Friedrich Lengfeld would have been brought, and as you can see, all riches. Can you imagine transporting the wounded here? You have a creek, high ridges, difficult terrain. Everything here was woods, so all damaged trees, fallen trees. It was cold, constant rain. You know, if you served in the army, you know, like cold, snow, rain, it just breaks your character, you know. Those are character breakers. And that way is to Hürtgen. So likely from that way Friedrich Lengfeld was brought in to here, the Lukasmühle. And later on, when he received the first aid, he was brought to Pforzheim, and there it was ultimately where he died. But there's nothing anymore to see at Pforzheim, so I'm not going there. So now we will be going to UNRELEASED, which is the final resting place of Friedrich Lengfeld. As you see here, when you come in, all these are new graves, and here is a small section of German graves from World War II. And very readable. You barely can read something. Look. Very readable. Look. You just cannot read the name. Here you see Erz and the rest unreadable. Man. It's just a shame, man. Gonna try to find the grave of Friedrich Lengfeld, but it's just a shame how these graves are treated. Just a shame. I found this grave. Look. I just barely can read. Feld. Free. That's it. This is the grave of Friedrich Lengfeld. One of the most known German soldiers from the war, trying to save an American soldier, honored by the US soldiers with a memorial. And here, a grave that you barely can read. Left to the grave of Ehrenfriedhof is the grave of Friedrich Lengfeld. Well guys, this was the story of Friedrich Lengfeld. I hope you liked it. If you like the content, I'm still new to this. Please watch the whole video from start to the end. Like it, comment on it, share on it. It is much appreciated and it will help me. And even all these crosses, you have 3 to 4 names written on one side and 3 to 4 on the other side. So under one cross there could be 7 to 8 German soldiers buried here. Most even still do not have a name. Just look at this. 3 unknown soldiers. We go one cross further. Another 3 unknown soldiers, and this is only on this side, so I'm not even checking the back. Other cross. 3 unknown soldiers. The cross next to it. 3 unknown soldiers. Again, 3 unknown soldiers. Another 3 unbekannter Soldat. Unbekannter Soldat, all 3 of them. And just unbekannter Soldat, another 2. Another 3 unbekannter Soldat. Another 3 unbekannter Soldat. And it just keep on going. Look how many of the soldiers still are unknown. Just keep on going. Look. Just imagine what horrors this battle were, that most of the soldiers are still unknown. The family that cannot so many unknown soldiers. Can you imagine how brutal this battle was if most of the soldiers are still unknown? No family that can, or no family that received notification that the family member was killed, or maybe even still missing to this day while he is buried under such a stone. No closure for the family, no grave that the family could visit. Can you imagine, like, maybe either they were buried with no identification mark, or they were just blown up, as you can see. Another unbekannte Soldat, 3 of them. Another 3. It just keep on going. More, even more. It's just either, or they were maybe obliterated by artillery, or never given a burial, and the American soldiers just dumped him in a mass grave or something. Here, even more. And this is also a battle, unlike the Battle of the Bulge, which just overshadows the Battle of Hürtgen Forest, and it's just it's understandable and not understandable, but because not only for the German point of view, but also for the US soldiers. They won the Battle of the Bulge, but they lost the Battle of Hürtgen Forest. And it for the US soldiers, also for the German soldiers, but also for the US soldiers, it was just such a slaughterhouse, and still it gets overshadowed by the Battle of the Bulge. The Hürtgen Forest should have gained more infamy or media, like what happened here, because even for the US soldiers, it was, if you've seen how many casualties, over 50,000 casualties, and you barely hear anything of it. Maybe the most famous movie that even goes about this battle and shows a more realistic view is with Its Fate. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but that more or less gives a realistic view how it was for the US soldiers. It wasn't all glory for them. It was literally a meat grinder for them. You came here and you were practically dead the day you arrived here, you know. It should have gained more media from the US side.